Well, no one is buying the official FBI story any longer. I mean, anyone with I think an academic brain or a quizzical brain.
I don't think it has to be academic. I mean, common sense brain.
Common sense. I mean, that story goes something like this. A lone gunman named Tyler Robinson with a trans lover devises a plan to climb on a roof during Charlie Kirk's event, uses his father's bolt-action rifle, fires a .30-06 round into Charlie Kirk. One shot, and as soon as he fires that shot, he's already in full sprint, jumping down off the rooftop. Then he instantly jumps off the roof. He leaves his rifle in the woods, goes to Dairy Queen for a little snack, just casually hanging out at Dairy Queen with a bit of a smile on his face there. That Dairy Queen, by the way, George Webb just reportedly showed that it has a close sign now. It's been removed. Like, well, this Dairy Queen has just vanished. Watch.
Well, we're at 1545. Is that a Dairy Queen sign? Interestingly enough, looks like it's been totally taken apart. Got cleaning mop buckets everywhere.
Gone. Okay.
That's strange.
Yeah, that's strange. And the location where Charlie Kirk was shot has now been renovated by the university, like almost immediately. It's behind a gate now as work continues there, putting down new cement slabs, redoing the entire ceiling underneath that particular area where Charlie Kirk was sat. Totally fine, totally normal to have that done almost immediately right after a major assassination event. Okay. Tyler Robinson's family turned him in. Tyler confesses. End of story. Stop asking questions. But none of that makes sense given the evidence. Specifically when we analyze the kill shot that ended Charlie Kirk's life. Joining me now is former CIA agent Larry Johnson. And I should point out that Larry Johnson spends most of his time as an NRA licensed gun trainer. Yeah. Literally spends time almost every day on the gun range training people how to use guns. And says that the official story is 100% a lie. Now, Larry and I spoke at length yesterday about this, and what he told me was pretty shocking. I said, Larry, we got to get you back on. We got to get you on the show. Larry, good to see you, my friend.
Hey, good to see both of you. Thanks for having me back.
My pleasure. So, I guess maybe I want to stick to the gunshot. I mean, that's where you're an expert, and that's where you smell a rat deep down. Can you walk us through? And really, am I putting words in your mouth when I say that you think this is 100% a lie, the official story they're telling us?
Yes. It's a complete fabrication. So let's deal with the actual facts that we have. Fact one is Charlie Kirk is dead. Fact two, we heard a gunshot. Sure sounded like a rifle shot to me. 3, the wound that killed Charlie did not have arterial blood spurts. Now that's it. That's all we know from actual facts. We don't know precisely from where the shot came from. We're told that it was done by this kid Tyler, except when you look at the video of him running across the roof, you realize that video should have picked him laying down on the roof taking the shot. We don't get that video. And then as he's running across the roof, his shadow disappears at one point. And then you can see people on the ground in the background walking, and they all of a sudden disappear. So the other fact we have is the video evidence that's being presented as evidence has clearly been tampered with. And you can see that person in the very, very back that's just walking on the sidewalk. And
yes, these people have bothered me for a long time because at this point, we are supposed to believe that people are screaming and running in the quad around the corner.
But maybe more importantly is Larry's point that they disappear.
Yeah. And so does the shadow. Okay, right.
Yeah. Look, it's like, where'd they go?
Yeah.
Where does the shadow go,
Scotty? So let's talk about the wound. Anybody that's watching you or listening to you, go to Rumble, go to BitChute, go to YouTube, search 30.6.30-06. There are ample videos on the internet showing what the power of that particular bullet is. When it's fired out of that cartridge It's propelled with a force of about, traveling at speeds upward of 2,000 feet per second, and tremendous force. They've got images of ballistic gel, which is designed to resemble a human head, and the skeleton of part inside. They shoot cow bones, cow femurs, which are thicker than a man's arm, and every one of those shots shows that the bullet shatters completely, passes through. If that round that hit Charlie had been a 30-06, as the FBI and the local police claim, Charlie's head would have been, if not completely severed, partially severed, and it would have been unrecognizable. Well, that clearly didn't happen. Yeah,
blown off his shoulders, essentially.
Yeah.
Can I get you to respond to the Turning Points USA spokesperson that said that, yes, under normal, that would have been normal, but his body stopped it because he had superhuman bones, essentially? Can you respond to the possibility of a bullet entering somebody's body and then, like a pinball machine, working its way up and out? What is the chances of that happening?
Yeah, 0. So look at there's another guy on YouTube called Valhalla VFT. He's a retired Special Forces soldier, and he's got a firearms business up. I believe it's up either North Carolina or Virginia. But he's got an extended video. He took the 30-06. He brought in a precision shooter, and they shot a variety of things, including a cow femur. Now, a cow femur is, 4 to 5 times thicker than a human spine, and it's big. When the 30-06 round hit that femur, it shattered it, just exploded it. Next, they took another cow femur, put about a 4-inch bag of meat on top of it, and it still shattered it. So this notion that, I don't doubt that they may have found a bullet, but the bullet they found was not a 30-06 round. That's the key thing.
That completely that alters completely the FBI's official story.
Exactly.
So if it's not a 30-06 rifle round, what was it? And, as you and I were talking yesterday, you were saying you think you know exactly what it was.
Well, I think, it's speculation at this point, but it could have been what's called a 300 blackout, or like a 223, the 223 5.56. It's a NATO round, the 5.56, the NATO version. That's what you shoot in a regular AR-15 M4 platform. Interestingly, the diameter of the bullet is the same as a .22 caliber bullet. So it's not like the bullet's bigger. 300 blackout, though, is a little bit bigger. What makes 300 blackout a potential candidate in this is that when it enters the skin, there's a cavitation effect. Now, I think I saw that you had the stacked up cards that shows that you can find videos as well where somebody can shoot a 50 caliber bullet, and the mythology is that the shock wave that follows it is so great it would blow the cards out. Well, I can show you videos where, in fact, it goes through. But when one of these bullets enters human skin and is in fluid, and there's this cavitation effect, so it's you can see these waves that just rapidly expand. And what looks like happened in Charlie's case is whatever bullet hit him here in the throat, it was at a downward angle. It created such a cavitation effect inside the chest that it literally stopped, if not destroyed, the heart. And in that regard, to Natalie's point, that kind of bullet might have bounced off the spine or been stopped by the spine. It doesn't have the same kind of penetration effect, particularly if it's a soft point, that the 30-06 round does. But that explains the unusual bleeding we saw from Charlie. I worked my way through college as a respiratory therapy tech, and was involved in several emergency room responses with people who were bleeding, but also having a respiratory emergency. So where I saw the bullet wound, I expected to see just a pumping of blood coming out, because it penetrated. It would have nicked, if not fully cut, the artery in his neck, the carotid artery. But we didn't see that. It was like he paused, he stiffened up, clearly showing signs of neurological damage. And then as he fell over, it was like, somebody hit a beer tap on a big beer machine. Just this flood started down his neck. That means the heart had been completely stopped. Because
this is a very important point. As he's hit in the neck, you believe he was hit in the neck. It exploded, ripped through his heart, destroyed his heart. He's dead instantly. You pointed out, because his arms come up and brace. That's a neurological response.
It's going stiff.
His hands come up, and it went to his brain, so it also severed his spine. And that shot, that is the entry wound that we're seeing. Yeah. And as you pointed out, it's not from Tyler Robinson's location. It's from a slightly different location, right?
Yeah, it appears to be. And that's where we don't. And here's what's so disturbing. When you have this kind of assassination, seal the crime scene off, and then you run tests based upon, because you know the height of Charlie, you know the height of the chair, you can put somebody in that chair, you wait to co-locate exactly where you saw the bullet hole, and then with lasers you can trace back, did it make sense? Because if they're going to get this Tyler Robinson kid into court, right away, this video that I recommended to you by Chris Martinson, all his defense attorney has to do is show that video. There's no more case, because
the Chris
all
Martinson,
you have to do.
This is the video. Let's put it up here on the screen. We just have a screenshot of Chris, just so people can watch this. It's an excellent analysis here, called "Analysis Solves Kirk Case. Evidence Points Away from Robinson's Position." He says 100% Tyler Robinson did not fire that shot. From that location.
And in a criminal case, all you have to do is raise reasonable doubt.
Right.
That video raises a lot more than reasonable doubt. You're going, good God, the FBI's lying, because they didn't seal the crime scene, or the local police didn't. They had the first responsibility. They failed in their job. But then when the FBI's on scene, they failed to go out and secure it. Instead, the whole thing's being dug up. They didn't reconstruct the crime scene right there. So it was just the sloppiness on this. And then that time they changed their story. So we can't put that information out because it's under investigation. Yet they had no problem putting out the entire transcript, supposed transcript of this 22-year-old kid talking to his trans partner. I mean, come on. I'm going to change my outfit. Those are words that's never come out of my mouth. Okay.
Yes, I'll get the vehicle later. Right. Yes.
So lots of absurdities, but so that's what I said.
But every time I think about this, because we're seeing how absurd the government is behaving, almost doing this badly on purpose, then it makes me wonder if he will get a real defense attorney who can actually win the case, because you could just send in a patsy and make a plea deal, turn this kid into a plea deal, right? I mean, he is on a good trajectory to become our generation's Lee Harvey Oswald, and we will not get an answer from this. And do you share these concerns?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Once they start talking, we got him on suicide watch. We brought in the same crack team that handled Jeffrey Epstein. They're experienced,
Great.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Start the countdown about his days numbered. Yeah.
Right.
Look, I don't know why. I think the way this entire narrative has been, all the different theories that are out there, like the exploding microphone, and Clayton and I talked about this yesterday. Natalie, I don't know if you fired a handgun, but anybody that's ever fired a revolver or a semi-automatic pistol, when you press that trigger, the bullet explodes forward, and which way does the gun move? Well, it moves backwards. It comes back at you. And I know somebody that fired a 50 caliber Desert Eagle, which is a big gun. He fired it and went boom, hit him in the forehead. So
Desert Eagles,
So what you see with this microphone that's being touted, that's what killed Charlie. When it goes off, the supposed explosion, it moves forward. defying laws of physics. So if an explosion had originated from that microphone should have moved this direction on Charlie. It did not. And when you realize that what you see in that literal second, that Charlie is shot and dies. He dies within a second. You get 30 frames. You see the shirt go up and then come back down. And you see his neck swell because there was an explosion that went off inside of his body. And all of that blood and fluid, and it just forced it was just a very rapid expansion. But the reason that I think that this was an organized assassination is because almost immediately afterwards, boy, you start to get 2 or 3 different stories about what happened.
So the disinformation.
Yes.
Can I ask you, do you think that there was, wasn't there a way to do this and not in front of people? What is the purpose?
Well, no, you want it in front of people, right? You want the spectacle.
See, Natalie's thinking like a typical woman, very logical and very practical. Because she said, if your goal is just to kill him, just kill him, and or have him die, or he had a heart attack or something. No, this was to send a political message. And I don't know if this was a message designed to try to provoke a fight between right and left, to try to create a justification for the government taking more control. But no, Natalie, that's an excellent observation.
The surveillance state. Yeah, Palantir is just sitting there like wetting its lips, watching us all, fret over all of this right now.
Right, and it does feel, let me just make this, one more observation. It does feel like in the last 2 weeks we've had these mass shooting events, mass violent events, and then right away some kind of partisan explanation, and we are fighting over it. So it feels very tiring to continue to do that, and very much like we're being stoked for a partisan war.
Yeah, I never discount the power of my old organization to be involved with a lot of nefarious activity. We got a very recent example. We had this guy Mohammed al-Jilani. He was the head of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. He was part of Al Qaeda when we started the war in Iraq in 2003. He then was imprisoned by David Petraeus from 2006 and stayed in prison in Iraq 2011. He gets out and joins up with ISIS. And then he becomes al-Nusra. And then in 2016, he resigns from al-Qaeda, sets up Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. And lo and behold, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, this group of Sunni Islamists, they're killing Christians, they're killing Alawites, they're killing Shia. They're beheading people. Hayat Tahrir al-Sham is listed as one of the top 10 terrorist groups in the world in the State Department's annual report on terrorism in 2017, 2018 as well. And all of a sudden we learned that in 2025, with a $10 million reward on his head, he is suddenly embraced by the United States. They change his name to al-Shara. They cut his beard, trim his hair, give him a suit, and now he's our big buddy.
Right.
So the simple fact that the United States has a track record through the CIA of collaborating with terrorists that we claim they attacked us on 9/11. Yeah. And we go, shucks, that was nothing. Let bygones be bygones. You're our buddies now. We provide money, we provide training. So when you come back and say, is it possible that the government or some entity connected to the government may have wanted Charlie Kirk dead? I can't rule that out because we've got too much of a track record of nefarious, murderous behavior by the United States. And look, we're seeing another example of it right now with this whole Venezuela madness. Trendy Aragua pops up out of nowhere in 2018, and that's when Donald Trump starts this, what they call this attempt to bring massive pressure on Venezuela. And now we're blowing up boats where nobody's shooting at us, but we're claiming they're carrying drugs, all designed to feed into this, how you manipulate public opinion, how you inflame public emotion, and how it's MK Ultra on steroids.
Larry Johnson, former CIA agent, trained NRA gun trainer. Thank you for this. There's so many other pieces of this, but I really wanted to focus on the gunshot specifically, and what your training and what the evidence is showing us specifically.
Yeah, let me just be
odds.
clear that what I'm saying was I'm not representing the NRA on anything that I'm saying. That was all my own
this
opinion.
Is your speculation,
that's not
it's-
NRA.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
informed speculation. I mean, it was
Yes, ma'am.
fantastic. Thank you
You are
so
correct.
much.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.